Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? And welcome to the newest edition of the Bronx Muchachos podcast, brought to you by the Baseball Banter Broadcast Network. I'm your host, Mark. Got my main man, Dave, with me. What's up, everybody? Dave, what's good, bro?
What's going on, everybody? If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to do us a huge favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Ring that bell for post notifications. And get notified when we do live streams like this. And tag along for the ride.
Absolutely. And for those of you who watch and want to listen to us without looking at our beautiful faces, don't forget we're on all audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and all those. So check us out those spots as well. It's Dave. Since we last spoke, it's been a beautiful thing. You want to know why? Baseball's back.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is back. So we've had a bunch of spring training games. Yankees have been doing their thing. I mean, last Friday it was Elmer Rodriguez pitching. Last Saturday it was Carlos Legrande pitching, which are always going to be fun to talk about those guys. You had Jason Dominguez playing a lot. You had Spencer Jones doing Spencer Jones things. So
Ben Hess looked awesome.
A whole lot of Ben Hess looked phenomenal as well. Now, listen, when it comes down to the pitching, the Yankees pitching staff, the Yankees pitching minor leagues are top notch. So they got a lot of arms, and they should not be afraid to use them at any given point throughout the season to get rid of somebody that's not working, to bring somebody else up that's a better option for the time being. So with that said, I know we've talked about ER, ER, it's not ERC anymore, it's ER, but Legrande is really the star of the show. Let's put it this way. When you have a sequence of 102, then a slider that breaks about 2 feet, and then comes back with 102.5 or something like that, you're in mid-season form. And that's not something you can teach people. Like, he's ready. It's a short period of time before he should be getting into the major leagues. And I hope, amongst all hopes, that they don't put him in the bullpen, that they leave him as a starter and let that 102 ride for 5, 6, 7 innings, because I think he's got the stuff to do it. He's got the makeup, he's got the prototypical body frame to do it, and he's just getting nastier and nastier.
I get what you're saying, but for him to get into the rotation, something seriously horrible would have to go wrong.
No, because you think of it this way. Right now, he's not going to start the season with the Yankees.
No,
what I'm thinking is that there's always injuries, right? There's always going to be an injury.
I get it.
So why not get him when there's an injury? We always talked about ER being the first. I always thought ER was going to be the first one in, but the way Legrande is going, he's probably going to be. He could be moving up ahead of him.
All I'm saying is, with you mentioning leave him as a starter. If he's coming up as a starter, something happened to Garrett Cole. Something happened to Max Fried. Something happened to Carlos Rodon. Something happened to Cam Schlittler. Like, something bad would have to happen in order for him to come up and be a starter.
Why
unless,
not?
Unless it's a doubleheader or something to that effect.
Or why not? Is it that, like, say Cam Schlittler, say not horrible, but Cam Schlittler had a sophomore regression. Luis Heel isn't performing correctly. Will Warren isn't doing what he's got to do to be in the starting rotation.
Like I said, something bad would have to happen.
But what I'm thinking when you're saying bad, I'm thinking like, catastrophically bad. Like Garrett Cole threw one pitch and his arm fell off again, or Carlos or Rodon comes in there and takes one thing and the back blows out on him or something like that. That's how I'm interpreting something bad happening. I'm just thinking that anything can happen. It's 162 games. Usually you go 7, 8 pitchers deep in a starting rotation. I don't see a problem like bringing him up and get him like 4 starts throughout the year and just letting him shove.
I mean,
do it again, and
he's not on the 40, so we gotta have to stop
do it again. And do it against like
40 guys. He's not on the 40 man, so that would have to be something that would have to get fixed. He's not Rule 5 eligible yet. I don't know if they would want to start that clock early and add him to the four. I agree with you. He's a tremendous arm. What I liked seeing him pitch the other day was the moment didn't seem too big for him. Like when we talked last week with Scott, we weren't sure how these young kids were going to do. First major league spring training, bright lights on them, but ER and Lagrange just had ice water running through their veins, it would seem. I liked everything I saw from both of them. Getting to the offensive side, Spencer Jones put one into the parking lot of Raymond James Stadium, which I thought was a good sign to see. He's actually mimicking Shohei Ohtani's toe tap and swing. And I mean, that ball was launched. I mean, that was a good 490 plus foot bomb into the parking lot of Raymond James Stadium, which for those of you that don't know, that's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play, and it's literally across the street from GMS Field.
Yeah, it's across the Mabry. There's an actual like walkway that goes across.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you watch it on TV, when you see people in like this walkway, they're coming from across the street, which is Dale Mabry's a major highway, quote unquote highway at that point. I think it's 4 lanes right now going each side. But Raymond James on the other side, and then you go south on that. You go to the Heims section of where the Yankees have too. So to round it all out, that's also like right next, a little bit south of George Steinbrenner Field is where the Hillsborough Community College is, and that's where the Tampa Bay Rays want to put their stadium, kind of put themselves right in the mix of all that stuff.
And to put a bow on the offensive side, your boy Roderick Arias, grand slam in the 20-3 routing of the Detroit Tigers. So I'm keeping my eye on the young guys this spring training. The veterans are going to do their thing. Judge is playing in 9 out of the first 12 games to get ready for the WBC. Same thing with Jazz. Same thing with Austin Wells. So I'm not really too worried about those guys. I'm more or less keeping my eye on the young dudes and the non-roster invites to see where these guys land, and being able to see Ben Hess for the first time up close. Another one that just was just blowing the ball past people. So I'm encouraged by it. I'm excited for it. I think this is the first time I've been excited for prospects probably since the Gary Sanchez and Aaron Judge days. So
yeah, and unfortunately those didn't pan out.
Well, one of them did. One of them did.
I was gonna you jumped the gun. You jumped the gun. I was gonna say, you jumped the gun. I was gonna say for the most part.
Well, you're like, well, for the most part, like, yeah, no, just forgetting about the 6'8" monster we got.
But okay, but then you look at everybody else. You look at everyone else who did not pan out. So I mean, in the totality of it, all the baby bombers did not pan out.
I mean, they would have panned out if they hadn't kept messing with their pitching delivery or their catching stance or whatever the hell it was. I mean, you gotta at least admit they ruined Luis Severino.
Who they ruined was they ruined Gary Sanchez is who they ruined.
Yeah, but I would also argue that they ruined Severino as well.
Severino had 3 years of injuries, so it's kind of Severino. So you got to remember, Severino came up and he was lights out. They told El Duque to download everything that El Duque can teach him, and Sevy did like he couldn't figure out like a fourth pitch. I think it was he had the fastball, he had the slider. He was working on a changeup, but the changeup was literally like a 2-seam fastball that was a cement mixer.
And then they slugged that and they went to the 2-seam anyway.
Right. He turned around, he went down to the minor leagues, he tried to figure it out, came back really good for like 2 seasons when he came back up because Pedro taught him the changeup.
Right.
So he worked with Pedro 2 years, he was fantastic, and then the injuries hit. He had the lat problem that will cost him almost an entire year. Then it was he comes back from the lat. Then it was the arm. Boom, Tommy John. He was done for, and he had 1 season left with the Yankees. And I think and it was halfway through the season when he came back, and that was that. So then he went over to the Mets for like a season or 2, and then he's with Oakland now, and it happens. That was it. Injuries really sapped Luis Severino of what he could have been with the Yankees. Yankees really screwed up to Gary Sanchez by putting Gary Sanchez with 3 different catching coaches in 6 years, all changing up exactly what he was trying to do or what he could do. Messed him up. Yankees messed up. Gleyber Torres, put him at shortstop. couldn't handle shortstop. After Brian Cashman turned around and said, "Oh yeah, no, we see him as a second baseman." Brought him up as a second baseman. Turned around then said, "No, we're going to move him over to shortstop." Where do we see this move before, where they keep putting people out of position?
I wonder.
Yeah. So, and Greg Bird, injury prone. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So sad.
Some of those things.
So much promise.
Clint Frazier, same thing.
Well,
the concussion.
The concussion ruined him.
Yes, but that's injury, and that's an injury. That's a massive, and that's an unfortunately massive thing, because he and they kind of they're doing the Jason Dominguez thing with Clint. They did what Jason's getting done to Clint, that he would get called up, sit, play for a game, and then sent back down, and he wasn't getting consistent time.
Well, now he was a center fielder trying to play left field.
Yeah, exactly.
He was decent in right field though when they played him in right. He was decent in right field, but left field.
He was decent in right field, but left field was, and he'll flat out tell you on his own show, like, yeah, I played left. They put me in left field, and I couldn't play left field. So I don't know why they kept putting me back out there. And he goes, they're doing the same thing with Jason Dominguez when he shouldn't be out there. He should be in center field. Sure enough, they put game one. The game they had Dominguez, Jones, and Judge, and what they do, and they should have been putting. They should switch it up and put Jones in left field. Instead, they put Jones in center field. What does that tell you? It tells you all you need to know is that the Yankees will never put Jason Dominguez, who came up as a center fielder, did good in his 8 games in center field. We'll never put him back there for some godforsaken reason, because I cannot understand it to this day.
I don't get it either.
But talking about things that they were doing, today they were playing the Blue Jays. And the Yankees went 6 for 7 with the ABS challenges, because the ABS challenges are here to stay, my friends. It is fun to watch. If you've never watched it,
I love it.
If you never watched a minor league game, it's really cool to watch. And Yankees were on top of it all. They're getting punched out. They're like, nope, challenge. And guess what? No, it wasn't a strikeout anymore.
Yeah.
And you can see every single time the umpire had to go up. Okay. And then he, 6 out of the 7 times, 6 times he goes, gotta recall this thing.
It's wild, because I went to, I think, 3 or 4 Jumbo Shrimp games this year in Jacksonville, which is the Miami Marlins AAA team, for those that don't know they're watching. And so they implemented it last year in the minor leagues. And this one game I went to, there was like it seemed like every pitch was getting challenged, dude. And like when it went the batter's way, you just see the umpires just like drop their heads and just shake their head. It's like, dude, like, come on. What are you shaking your head at? You screwed up. Deal with it. But it's a really interesting system. I'm a fan of it, and I think it's really going to be a game changer for baseball.
I think it's going to be a good thing for baseball, because I'm just waiting to see how it's going to affect the catching market, because you have catchers that are really good framers that are now, I think as it continues on, like, framing might become
a dead art.
It could be, because because catchers are stealing the strikes by just by lifting the glove up. Now
Austin Wells is one of the best ones at it too.
Yeah, but if now all of a sudden you're not being penalized for it, but you can't steal them anymore. It's gonna be a problem for some of these catchers.
Well, I mean, like you were saying before we went on air, you only get 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use one too early and you're wrong, I mean, I can see both sides of the argument, but could it be a dead art? Yeah, but you only get to use this thing twice, and if you lose it, you lose the challenge. So I mean,
right? But if you win it, you keep going and going and going with it.
True.
So I mean, there's going to be some times that it's going to be too close to call, and someone's not going to,
right?
It's going to tap their head and they're going to steal it that way. But some of the other ones were a little bit more of the egregious ones. They're going to weed those out. Which,
yeah,
for good or bad,
won't be striking out by looking at balls at his shins anymore. Thank God.
Well, I mean, now these umpires are going to have to be on their toes, because all of a sudden, if he's going to tell you it's a ball, and they kept on saying no, it's not, and then he's going to challenge you every time, and they're going to show you that's a ball every single time, because even at 6'7", you can't reach something that's in the dirt. You can't call it a strike in the dirt anymore. it is what it is. And while we're talking about things, give a big shout out, Daniel Barris, Sports Highlights. Daniel, thanks for the what's up, big guy. We're giving you a shout out right now. But yeah, I mean, I like what I see. You talked about my main man, Roderick Arias. I feel like Michael Corleone with him. Every time I get out, they pull me back in. And I swear he's got listen, he's got talent. He just hasn't performed yet. I think hopefully, I was hoping last year was going to be his breakout year. Obviously it wasn't. Maybe this year. Maybe they'll actually push him instead of keeping him in low A ball, they'll move him to high A ball and like kind of let him see let a different change of scenery might be something that he needs.
Didn't he break his wrist? Wasn't
1
he
year
injured?
He broke his wrist. So when they signed him, he broke his wrist in he had a wrist injury going into his DSL season. So that was year one. He played like a few weeks and then he was done for the season. The next year when he was in the complex league, he was with that really good complex league team. Like they had like 5 shortstops on that team or five or 6 infielders that were really good. And he was turning it on and doing his pinky, like a ball like hit the pinky and he broke his pinky. So he was done for the season then. And then they moved him up to low A. Started off slow and I forget what. Then I think he was turning it on, then got injured again at the end of that season, and that's when he came and moved up from the complex to low A, and then Lombard Jr. and he stayed together for the entire season. And the two of them, like Lombard, started off hot and cooled off, and when he was cooling off, Roderick was turning it up, and it was a really weird situation. It was like their numbers were pretty similar the entire season, and then the Yankees promoted Lombard Jr. and they both took off at that point. When they weren't playing next to each other, they took off, and then the Yankees just kept promoting. They should at that point. I always thought that they should have promoted Arias to high A ball. Instead, they didn't, and I think that affected his season last year altogether. And Lombard Jr. took off and just kept on running with it. So, and he took it out. He's got the opportunity to take and is going with the opportunity, which is great for him. But Roderick, he needs to any semblance of what he needs to do. He needs to lock it in, move forward, and kind of go and get himself into high. Hopefully, he goes into high A ball and kind of makes his way up to at least to Triple A, Double A this year. Probably won't see it, but I think he's definitely got to be in high A ball this year.
Yeah.
So
today's game, looking at the box score, let's see. Trent Grisham, 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Not exactly what you want to see out of a guy getting a huge qualifying offer. Captain America. Yeah, shut up. Captain America, 1 for 2, 2 runs scored. Bellinger, 2 for 3. Jazz, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Goldschmidt, 2 for 3, 4 RBIs. Making me eat my words. Austin Wells is in mid-season form, 0 for 3.
Yeah.
Med Rosario, 1 for 2 with an RBI. Jose Caballero, 1 for 2. And then a bunch of fill-ins at that point. So they had some guy that Castillo came in, played right field. I have no idea who the hell that is. But Will Warren, 2 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 4 strikeouts. Then Jake Bird came in and was not having birds fly out of the ballpark. He went an inning and a third, 2 Ks. Brent Hedrick, more greatness out of him, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Kevin Castro, 2 innings, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And then one of their minor league, Carson Coleman came in, closed it out. And that was it. So yeah.
Well, Jake Bird, having Jake Bird is important to get the ship right in the ship.
Yeah, he just got here at the trade deadline, just fell flat on his face, and they had to send him back to AAA.
Yeah, I think it was something with his arm. I think he had like a dead arm, or I think he had an injury, and they still made the trade for him. Don't know why. kind of like the good old your boy, Frankie Montas trade.
Well, I mean, decent left-handed relievers are hard to find. I mean, his numbers weren't great. I mean, obviously playing in Colorado, your numbers aren't going to be great as a pitcher. You're going to be great as a hitter, not so great as a pitcher. And that's why a lot of teams are hesitant to trade for guys from Colorado, because they just, with the environmental elements, you just don't know what you're going to get. So
true.
We'll see.
We'll see. But speaking of another former Colorado guy, I'm actually very intrigued and interested how the long-term change that the Yankees are making with Ryan McMahon. They've changed his swing. They changed his stance. They closed them. They shortened up his stride.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll pay dividends. I don't know why it's taken this long to figure out to close his stance up a little bit, or shorten it, I should say. But yeah, him, Jazz Chisholm, talking about how he wants to be a 50-50 guy, and also 8 to 10 years for $350 million, I think it was, or $35 million a year.
He wants Aaron Judge money. Good luck.
No. He wants Bellinger. He wants Bellinger money is what he wants.
Right, but it's almost an Aaron Judge territory. I mean, it's $500,000 short of $40 million a year.
It's $5 million.
He wants $35.5 million for 8 to 10 seasons.
Okay, and
Judge is making 40.
Yeah, it's not 500,000. Is what I'm saying.
35.5 million from 40
is not 500,000.
Well, whatever. 5.5.
4 to 4.5 million.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
It's $4.5 million difference. Yeah, I mean, listen. Good luck to him.
He ain't getting it here. He ain't getting it here. I don't think anyone is short of him putting his money where his mouth is, so to speak. I don't see anybody giving it to him. And and this is the problem I have with players, right? Go out there, perform going into free agency, and then shoot your mouth off after the work's been done and the season ends where it ends. Then you can start demanding money. Not before. Do it after. That's my issue with it.
You know what? I would say, we come from watching the game back in the day where people wouldn't talk about it too much. Where it was like, okay, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna perform it. Like Tino Martinez, right? He had a lot of down years, and then he had a really good year for his contract year in 2001. I kept on saying 2021. In 2001, and he was expecting to get a big payday, and Yankees turned around. They went for Giambi instead, and I always liked having Giambi on the team.
$21 million deal from the St. Louis Cardinals that offseason.
Yeah. $7 million a year, where Jason was getting 12 to 15 mil or something.
He got
like
$127 million.
Yeah,
$127 million for 7 years.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
remember when Jim Thome was a free agent after the 97 season. He signed a 3-year, $15 million contract, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, looking back at it now, it's like, really, $5 million a year. Now imagine if those guys played today. Oh my god! Imagine if A-Rod was in his prime right now. Imagine if Manny Ramirez was in his prime right now. Frank Thomas.
Oh.
David Justice, Chipper Jones. I mean, the list goes on.
I don't know. Frank Thomas is a different bat. Frank Thomas nowadays, he wouldn't be getting paid.
You don't think so?
Or they're not paying first baseman. They're not paying first baseman. Look at the first baseman getting paid. Yeah, Pete Alonso's getting 30 a year, but it's on a shorter deal. Like Freddie Freeman wasn't getting crazy amount of money. None of the other.
I mean, he got 180. I mean, that's still decent.
Yeah, but over what? 6 years?
8 years,
something like that. So it's
8
20,
years.
It's 20. It's 20 something. It's 20 a year, or 30 a year. Yeah.
Hey, it's more money than you and I are ever going to make in our life.
He's getting, they're getting paid, but it wasn't like. That's right. Very true. But yeah, going back to A-Rod. I mean, A-Rod was what, 20, 25 mil a year before he did the Yankee deal. But I mean 25.2, excuse me, because it was double the Kevin Garnett deal. I mean, he's probably making double that money now. In today's numbers, five tool when he hit free agency, the year he hit free agency, if it was now, he would be getting more money than Juan Soto because he's more marketable than Juan Soto as well.
Well, and then he opted out in 2007 and signed for another.
I'm going by the first.
Oh, you're going by the original one. Oh,
the original the Texas Ranger deal. He was more marketable more marketable at 25. Doing all that stuff. He was more marketable, getting $25.2 million a year, and than Juan Soto is right now. And Juan Soto's getting 51 with his opt-outs. With the one opt-out, will bump it up to 54 million or 55 million a year. You know, with Steve Cohen, and Steve Cohen added all the extra stuff in there: the personal chef, the private security for the family, this box suites, and all that stuff. And those were all the things that A-Rod was in his contracts as well. With the Texas Rangers, he was like the first one to start putting the business side together with it all. So everyone else kind of followed suit along the way. A-Rod, I think, was the first one with the opt out. I don't think anybody else had an opt out in their contract before him.
There might have been. You just didn't hear about it. I find it hard to believe that A-Rod was the first one because Sabathia
the magnitude of the deal
after 09.
You got to remember, it's the magnitude of the deal A-Rod had was something that sports in general never heard of before. Forget about $100 million guy. We're talking a $200 million guy.
Yeah, it was the highest contract in any North American sport at the time.
Exactly. Remember, it doubled Kevin Garnett's deal. It doubled the deal. So, he had already been going back and forth. He had been talking with the Mets, like, I need I need box seats, or I need a suite, and when Scott Boras was asking for the world because he realized that he had the golden goose right now. Might as well go for it all.
Yeah,
and Scott Boras is no idiot because he set that tone for everybody else that he was able to do. Look where it went from A-Rod at $25.2 million a year to Juan Soto last year at 50 mil a year, 51 mil a year, and getting all the same things, and having a gullible owner. Well, I don't want to say gullible, but an owner that was willing to do whatever it takes, and damn the torpedoes of the money with Steve Cohen, and give him whatever he wants, give the family whatever he wants.
So it was nice to have that back then. Wish we had that now. We wouldn't be suffering.
Two things. Hal stops running it with a spreadsheet, and they stop actually spending money in a stupid way, like 22-something million on Trent Grisham. It's going to be the bane of my existence. Him and Anthony Volpe are going to be the banes of my existence this entire season. Swear to you. Jeremy, just understand, when the two of them go like 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts each, there will be nothing. Expletives the entire time.
Now you know how I felt when we had Aaron Hicks and Josh Donaldson and Joey Gallo.
I was never a Joey Gallo fan.
I know, but
I was never a Joey Gallo fan.
Now you understand how I felt for 2.5 seasons.
The Aaron Hicks thing, man. Josh Donaldson was whatever.
At the time, it was a decent deal. I mean, the length of it, probably not a good idea. But, I mean, he figured it out for a year, and then he didn't. And
then he reverted. Him playing golf he liked playing golf more than baseball. Is he engaged to like Tiger Woods' niece or something? He's
married
like that?
Tiger Woods. He's married to her. They got married a couple of years ago.
Good for them. Living in Arizona, playing golf all the time. Man, he's got it good. He was a scratch golfer. Or is a scratch golfer, I should say.
John Smoltz is.
Yeah,
he's actually pretty good too.
I mean, him, Glavine, and Maddox, they used to go to the golf course all the time. All the time.
Yep. What else we got?
Just waiting. Waiting on waiting to see what else happens. I mean, we got what we're rolling. We're at the end of February, kind of begin rolling to March. Got a few more games before all the rest of the guys are starting to break off into the World Baseball Classic stuff, and then.
Do you want to talk about the tidbit you sent out to the group earlier today?
Oh, about the international side?
Yeah.
It's what it's not nothing against the Yankees. So I had known about this. I was given this information well over a year plus ago, actually. That the Yankees had lined up. The Yankees for a while had lined up before a lot of issues that came in. They had from this year, next year, lining up through like 2030, like some of the top international signings. They had their hands on the pulse for them. And obviously this year with the dismissal or the non-renewal of Danny Rowland, some of these agreements kind of went by the wayside. They lost Juan Diaz-Sejan this year. They're losing Myron De La Rosa next year. They had talked to somebody for the 2028, and that fell through. Then Daniel De La Rosa they were in touch with in 2029, I believe it was, and he's got a better offer early on, so he's moved on. And then 2030, the Yankees had what was going to be one of the best studs in the game in Latin America out of Venezuela. This kid Albert Mejias, something upwards of like $6 to $7 million he was going to sign for, depending on what you're looking at. It was what 6 and change plus another X amount of money for schooling and whatever. And reports are out there that at one point that he's not with the Yankees, that the Yankees declined his offer. We're talking now, we're in 2026. We're talking 4 years later, 4 years down the line, talking about a 13-year-old kid, 12 to 13-year-old kid right now. But yeah, they were talking about how they renewed, they took it away, but then Albert Mejias sent out there saying that he thanks all the 29 teams for all other teams for their interest, but mind you, he's in all Yankee gear saying this, or in the picture, but he's sticking with the offer. Him and his academy saying that there's no change in the offer, that there's an offer out there still from one team. He's staying with that one offer. He's not breaking his commitment, and the way he said it is that the children shouldn't. I forget exactly how I said it. I have to look up exactly what I said to you with the translation, which was like the kids shouldn't be punished for what the parents do. So there's a lot more to this story that's going on. The Academy, him, Yankees, like you'll keep hearing more and more stuff about this in the next few days. But this is kind of a lot of the wild west things that are happening in Latin America, especially with. You're talking youth and you're talking kids, and it's a talent. And the Yankees need to keep a lot of this young talent because they always draft in the back end of the first round or into the second round nowadays. So yeah. Hopefully you find out that hopefully the kid one is the idea was, because I kind of stepped on the big portion of it, was that that the Yankees were breaking their agreement with him because of the age verification, that they found that he's not the age he's supposed to be, but they haven't said it. No one's really come out saying it yet. So everyone's still trying to figure out what the story is on that. So that's where it comes down to. Hopefully he's at the age that he's supposed to be. There was one of the other guys that they had, I think it was for 2020. I think the 2028 guy that they had was Angel Ozuna, and he was a stud. When I saw the videos of him, like he was supposed to be a stud switch hitting shortstop from the DR, and they found out that he was a lot older than what he was being portrayed as.
Oh, why is this dude launching bombs against 13-year-olds? Weird.
Well, launching bombs against 13-year-old launching bombs against 13-year-olds is nothing new. I mean, we could sit here in the States watching that. all the time, especially when you go to USSSA and travel.
Yeah, but if there's a
games,
distinct like size difference, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, he was literally crushing the ball. Like I would watch him, like there's no way that I'm watching. Oh, the Yankees can sign this kid at this age. That's going to be wild. He was going to be the best shortstop around. He would have been better than Wander. Forget what Wander Franco did on the side, but baseball Wander Franco. He was going to be better than Wander Franco.
yeah. I mean, you want to take it back years. Look at the Little League World Series with Danny Almonte. Comes to mind, where he's what they tried to say he was like 12 or whatever, and he's blowing the ball past kids almost at like 80 miles an hour, and they find out later on that he was like closer to 16 or whatever the hell it was, and that whole scandal. I mean, there comes a point where you just gotta like look at the person and be like, something's not right about this.
Yeah, but you also got to remember sometimes like a lot of these academies they all do some shit. Some of the reputable ones obviously won't do it, but some of them do some shit. I mean, sometimes they jack some of these kids up, some of these smaller kids up with drugs to get them bigger and stronger, so they can can get their stuff, and then all of a sudden like, oh well, yeah, well everyone got paid, so
even still to this day, there's still doubts about, how old Miguel Tejada really was. There's doubts about how old Albert Pujols really was.
Miguel Tejada, they came out and they figured out he was like 3 years older than at least 3 years older than what he said he was. Alfonso Soriano was 2 years older than what he said he was when he was with the Yankees. That came out after Alfonso Soriano got traded to the Rangers for A-Rod. They came back and said, yeah, I'm too, my birthday is actually this time. So he was actually the same age as A-Rod when the trade was made. Albert Pujols, from all the times I've listened to David Sampson talk about it, it is a well-known fact, but nobody talks about it. Albert Pujols was I don't want to put the number out there, but he was older than what he actually says he is. By a few years.
Crazy stuff.
We have that. I mean, who knows what with the rest of those guys? I mean, tons of them. That was a lot of them came over ball before they're all pre 9/11, so the checks weren't really there. Checking the background checks weren't as strict.
Sure.
Look at what the Yankees had. Esteban Florial, when he was originally signed, he was signed under a different name. They signed him, and as they were doing their background checks, MLB caught on to it that he wasn't even. I think Esteban Florial's he's Haitian, because I keep forgetting if he was Dominican and went and had a passport from Haiti, or if he was Haitian and got the Dominican.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Oh, you never heard of this one?
No.
Oh, so. Esteban, I believe it was Esteban Florial, but when he was signing with the Yankees, just as it was approaching this was when it was July 2nd was the signing date. Just as it was approaching that time, or just after that, MLB found out that I can't remember which way it was. So whichever way it was, he was under his parents gave him a different birth certificate to show he was a year younger. So MLB turned around and banned him from playing in a year, put him back in, could go back in the draft. He had to give the money back that the Yankees gave him, gave the money back, couldn't go into any of the academies, couldn't go to couldn't go into any showcases or anything like that for an entire year. Came back and the Yankees signed him a year later for pretty much pennies on the dollar.
Never became anything, so
breaking his wrist 2 years in a row in spring training does it to you.
Yeah. That'll definitely do it. But it's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for everybody for checking in. And don't forget, hit that like and subscribe on YouTube. Check out the show notes below where we got the MLB shop as one of our affiliate sponsors. So get your fresh gear for the upcoming season. And check out our merch store. Buy some merch from us. We got a bunch of stuff there for everybody. We designed it all of ourselves, and it will help the podcast grow and get us to do bigger and better things as time goes on. So be much appreciated. This might be the only show we do this week. We'll be back the following Thursday, but if anything changes, we'll let you know. And have a good week, everybody.
Peace out, everyone.